welcome to another video, and in this video of class 10th real numbers, where in the previous video we have already done the exercise 1.1 and some important problems from that exercise, and in this video we'll be doing the exercise 1.2 where we'll again be taking some important problems, and within those problems we'll be checking out for all the important concepts and building upon all the basic fundamental concepts of this chapter real numbers. So let us get into it, where we'll be solving exercise 1.2. So question number 1 of exercise 1.2 says that we have to express the product of its prime factors of each corresponding number. So the first number given to us would be 140. So basically what we have to do is we have to represent 140 in terms of its corresponding product of its corresponding prime factors. So what are the basic prime factors? 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13 and so on, right? So these are the basic prime factors and it goes on. So we have to express 140 in terms of product of these prime factors to some power. So what we have to do? We have to basically prime factorize this number 140. So I've already taught you how to do that in the previous video, in previous I guess 2 videos ago, and the same method is going to be implied in this problem. So 140 can be split like the lowest prime factor should always be taken for considered. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, right? So lowest is 2. So check if 140 is divisible by 2. So yeah, 140 is obviously divisible by 2. So 2 and 140. So 70. 2 times 70 is 140, right? Now again we have to split this into 2. So 70 again check with 2. 2 is the lowest prime factor again. So yeah, it goes with 2. So 70 is divisible by 2. So again 2 and 35, right? Now check with 2 again. We have to divide this into 2 as well. So again the lowest prime factor is 2. Now we can't write 2 over here because 35 is not divisible by 2. So check the next check the next lowest prime factor, which is 3. Well, 3 is also not divisible. Now check 5. Well, 5 is divisible, right? So 5 times 7 gives us 35. And finally, there is no further divisibility. 7 cannot be split further because 7 is already a prime factor. So we end over here because we ended with a prime factor. Now the numbers we got from prime factorizing the number 140 are 2, 2, 5 and 7. Now basically what you have to do over here is write them in the product form. 2 times 2 times 5 times 7. Now 2 times 2 can be written as 2 square, right? So basically this can also be written as 2 square times 5 times 7. So basically this is how you represent a number, given number 140, in terms of its lowest prime factors, product of its lowest prime factors. So 2 into 5 into 7, where the powers are 2, 1 and 1 respectively. So 2 square times 5 times 7 will give us 140. If you want to check it, then just multiply every other number. So 2 square is 4, 7 times 5 is 35, 35 times 4, which will give us 140 again. So we have successfully split the number 140 in terms of product of its corresponding prime factors. Now for the second subdivision. What is the second subdivision for question 1? We have to do the same for the number 156. Now we know 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 and so on are the basic prime factors. Now we have to split the number 156 like we did the previous problem. So 156 again we have to split it. Now as we see, 2 is the lowest prime factor among this series. Now first to check if 156 goes by 2. Yeah, it goes by 2 because the last number is either 2, 4, 6, 8 or 0. Then the number goes by 2, right? So yeah, this number goes by 2. So what is 156 divided by 2? It is like 78, I guess. Yeah, 78. Now again 78, check the lowest prime factor which is divisible by 7. The number 78 is divisible by which of the lowest prime factors? So check it with 2, 3, 5 and 7 corresponding. So well, the first number 2 itself is divisible with 78, right? So 2 and 78 goes, I think 39. Yeah, 39. Now 39, I guess I have to expand this list of prime factors for this problem because the other numbers 13, 17, there are other numbers for prime factors as well because the list goes on. So as we did over here, we are splitting it into 2. Again we are splitting it into 2. Now again we have to split it into 2. Now check if it goes by 2. No, it doesn't go by 2 because 39 is not divisible by 2. Now check if it goes by 3. Well, yes, 3. It goes by 3, right? So 13 3s are 39. Now again, when you can think 13 should also be split, but 13 is in the list of prime factors. Well, how did I know if 13 is in the list of prime factors or not? Well, you have to think at first, because while solving many problems you get accustomed to all the prime factors which are in this series. Well, I knew that 13 does not have any factors. Suppose you take 13 or 29. Well, these are not very common numbers, right? You use 27. You are used to 27. 9 into 7, 9 into 3 is 27, right? But 29, where do I use 29? Well, I don't use it in most cases. So the number 29 must be a prime factor, right? So that is an intuition. So this intuition helps me to find which are all the numbers which are prime factors. Well, 13 is such number, one such number. So 13 is a prime factor, so it can't be split. Now basically take all these numbers on the left hand side as well as this number 13. So this number, this number, this number as well as this 13, and write it in product form. So 156 can also be written as 2 into 2 to 3 into 30. Now this 2 into 2 can be written as 2 square. So 2 square times 3 times 13 is the final form of the product of prime numbers of this 156. So that is our second problem from question number 1. Now as for the third problem, the third subdivision or the third problem from question number 1 I am choosing is, it's a rather larger number, 5005. Well, first, what is your first step? The first step is to check if it goes by 2 or 3 or any of the lower ranged prime factors. So first let us check with 2. No, 2, it doesn't go with 2. Well, check if it goes with 3. Well, it doesn't go with 3. How do you check if it goes by 3 or not? Just add all the corresponding digits. 5 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5. So 5 plus 5 is 10, right? So 10 doesn't go by 3, so this number also doesn't go by 3. So that is a easy technique to find if a number goes by 3 or not. If a number is divisible by 3 or not. So well, it doesn't go by 3 as well. So check with 5. Yeah, it goes by 5 because the last digit is either 0 or 5, then the number is divisible with 5. So 5 times 1001 is 5005. So again 1001, check with other numbers. 1001, check with 2, 3, well it doesn't go with 3 as well. Check with 5, well 1001 doesn't go with 5 as well. Now check with other numbers, 2, 3, 5, and well the next number is 7. Check with 7. 1001. I don't know if it goes with 7 or not. Well, the divisibility is with 7 is rather complicated. So it is better if you check directly by dividing it with 7. So 7 ones are 7, 301. I'm sorry, 30. So 7 fours are 28. Well, 21. 7 threes are, well, it goes with 7. 7 threes are 21 and 0. So 143 times. So 7 times 143. If it comes down to 7, then better divide the number with 7 and check it. There is no there is a method to find if a number is divisible by 7 or not, but it is rather complicated. So I would advise directly divide the number. So again 143. Now how do you divide 143 again? 143 can be divided into check with, we have already tried with 7. Well, let us try with another number. So 7 and 11 is the next number. So 143 divided by 11. 11 we have a divisibility method. Wait, I'll tell you the divisibility method. So for divisibility by 11, you have to add all the odd digit numbers, this 1 and 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4, minus add all the even digit numbers. So 4 is the even digit. So 4 minus 4 is 0, right? So either 0, or if the number goes by 11, then it is divisible by 11. So let me take the case of some other number. Let me take 13 into 11. What is 13 into 11? 13 plus 130, which will give me 3, 4, 140. Okay, this is 13 into 11, right? Okay, so now you know this is 13 into 11. So 11 times 13. But yeah, that is the case over here. Let me tell you. Let me take another number and tell the divisibility by 11. Let us take a bigger number. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 9, 1. So let this be the number. We have to check if it goes by 11 or not. So what did I tell you? First add all the odd placed this and this. Add all these and keep it over here in this bracket. And add all even digit numbers over here. Even placed number. This is in second place, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is in second place. 4th and 6th, right? So add all these and keep this in this bracket. So 1 plus 4 plus 9. all odd digit is 14, right? 14 minus all the even digit numbers. 2 plus 8 plus 1. 2 plus 8 is 10, 10 plus 1 is 11. So 11. Now subtract these two. 14 minus 11 is 3. Well, if the result over here it is coming as 3, but if the result is 0 or any like multiple of 11, if it is 11 or 22 or 33 or anything like that, then it goes by 11. If it is not like this 3, then it does not go by 11. So now we know this 12491, this random number does not go by 11. And well, this 143, well, it goes by 11. So that was a rather huge explanation. Well, for 143, now it can be split as 11 into 13. Now what you do is simply like the previous problem, just write them as the product of these prime factors. 5 times 7 times 11 times 13. So yeah, that's it. There are no repeating numbers of these prime factors. So the power of every single digit is 1. So 5 into 7 into 11 into 13 is the final answer. Now, well, there goes the first question. Well, there are many subdivisions of this question number 1, but question number 1, as of question number 1, every other question is easy. So I am just choosing 3 questions from here. So let us go to question number 2 right now of exercise 1.2. Well, for question number 2, we will be dealing with finding the LCM and HCF of given numbers. Now, the question is, find the LCM and HCF of the following pairs of integers and verify that LCM times our HCF equals product of the numbers A and B, where A and B are your given numbers. So, product of the two numbers for which you are finding the LCM and HCF. So, this is what we have to verify, and we have to correspondingly find the LCM and HCF of the given two numbers. So, as of the first division, we have been given with these two numbers 26 and 91. So, we have to find the LCM and HCF of these two corresponding numbers, and we have to verify that the relationship LCM times HCF is equal to the product of these corresponding numbers 26 and 91 is true. So, well, let us start with LCM first. Now, 26 and 91, choose any number randomly. So, 26, I will choose 26. Now, how are you going to proceed? Well, we are going to do the same method we did in the previous question, where we are going to write this as a product of the individual prime factors. So, 26 can be, I can split this as 26 is 2 times 13, right? And 13 is a prime number, so you can't split it further. So, you can write 26 as 2 times 13, right? The product of its prime factors. Now, choose 91. So, 91 should be split. Well, 91, check all the prime factors. 2, it doesn't go by 2, 3, well, 5 and 7 also, I guess it doesn't go by 7, right? Yeah, 7, it goes by 7. So 91 divided by 7, 7 ones are 7, 21, and 7 threes are 21. Well, it goes by 7, 7 13s are 21. So 7 over here and a 13 over here. So 91 equals 7 times 13. So well, this is what we did in the previous problem. We have split the given number in terms of its product of its prime factors. See, 2 and 13 are prime factors, and 7 and 13 are prime factors as well. So, for the LCM part, we have to find the LCM and HCF of these two numbers, right? So, for the LCM part, what we are going to do over here is, we are going to take all the bases over here. So, 2 times 13, 2 times 7 times 13. 2 times 7 times 13. All the common bases, you have 2 over here, you have 7 and 13, right? All the unique bases you are taking over here and take the product of all these. So 2 times 7 times 2 is 14, 14 times 13, that will give you 182. You take the product and see, it gives us 182. So therefore the LCM of these two numbers 26 and 91 is 182. I'll write it over here. LCM is 182. Now, as of HCF, we have to find the HCF also, right? So, as for the HCF of these two numbers, what we are going to do is just take the common number from these two. Well, 13 is a common number from these two given numbers. So, 13 is the HCF. Well, easy, right? Just find the common of these two. So, our HCF from these two numbers is 13. Now, the question doesn't end here. We have to find, or we have to verify this relationship that LCM into HCF is equal to product of the given two numbers. So the product of given two numbers 26 times 91, which is equal to 2366. Well, you can multiply it and see. Well, the answer is 2366. So we have done this part. This part is A times B, which is 2366. Now we have to do LCM times HCF. What is LCM times HCF? 182 times 13. 182 times 13. Well, this turns out to be 2366 as well. I'll multiply it and check. Times 13. So 3 2s are 6, 24, 25 and 5. 0, 182, 6. Well, wait. It is through 2366, right? So this will be 3 and 1. Okay, 2766, right? So 2376, I guess. 6, 24. Okay, this is 4. Okay, sorry. This is 4. So this is 2366 only. Yeah, so the product of the LCM times HCF is 2366, as well as the product of the individual numbers 26 and 91 also give us the same product. So therefore we can tell that this above equation is true. So therefore it is verified for the given two numbers. Well, it is always true, but we have to prove for specific numbers. So let us move on to the second subdivision of the same problem, question number 2 of exercise 1.2. Well, for the question number 2, we have to find the LCM and HCF and verify the same for these two given numbers, 510 and 92. So for 510 and 92, we have to find the same LCM and HCF, and we have to verify the equation as well. So first we have to take any of the two numbers. I am taking 510. Now split them. Well, it goes by 2 at the first, which is the least prime factor. So 2 times, what is this? So 2 times, it will go around 2 times 205. No, it's not 205. I guess it's around 290, I guess. Okay, I'll divide it and see. Divided by 2 will give me 2 times, will give me 4, 11, 5 times 10, 105. So 255, right? 255. So 2 times 255. Now again you check with the least prime numbers. Now 2, it doesn't go by 2. Well, check for 3. Add all the digits over here. 2 plus 5 plus 5, 10, 12. Yeah, it goes by 3. So 3 over here and 255. Well, 3. Substitute 3 over here. Sorry, divide it with 3. Now when dividing it with 3, it goes by 8, 84, 115, 8, 5, 15. So 85. Now you know that this number goes by 5. It doesn't go by 3 or 2 as well. So it goes by 5. So 5 1s are 5, 35, 5 7s are. So that's it. 17 is a prime number. So there ends our process for 510. So I can write 510 as 2 times 5, 3 times 5 times 13. So, I'm sorry, 17. So this is how I can write 510 in terms of its prime factors. Now as of 92, 92 can be split in 2. Yeah, it goes by 2, right? So 2 divided by 2 4s are 8 and 46, I guess. Yeah, 46. So again it goes by 2. So it is 23. And yeah, 23 is a prime factor. Now as I told you, you know the prime factors automatically when solving enough problems, and you know that 23 is not a very common number, right? So 23 in fact is a prime factor. I'm sorry, it's a prime number. So again 92 can be written as 2 times 2 times 23 times 23. Well, 510 and 92, there are their product of their prime factors. Now, as of the LCM and HCF part, well, we have to find the LCM and HCF, right? So 2 square times 23, this 92 can be written in this form. So for the LCM, we have already done the LCM, right? Take all the common bases. All the common bases over here are 2. Well, 2 is common in both of these bases. 3, 17 and 23. These are all the common bases. 2, 3, I'm sorry, 5 is also there. So I'll just do a product 5 over here. So these are all the bases over here. 2, 3, 5, 17 and 23, right? So take the, now you've taken all the product of the bases. Now take the highest power of all these bases. Well, for 2 the highest power is 2 square. So 2 is the highest power. So 2 square. For 3 and all the other numbers, 3, 5, 17, 23, it is 1 only. So all the other numbers, it is 1. Now take the product. 4 times 3 times 17 times 23 times 5. Well, multiplying all these numbers now will give us this LCM. The LCM of these two numbers will be the product of all these numbers. Well, the LCM is 23,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, the LCM is 23,460. Yeah, that is the LCM of these two numbers. I'll write it in this side. LCM equals 23,460. And as for the HCF, for the HCF part, we have to take the common numbers. So for HCF, we have to take the common basis over here. So what is common? 2, 3, 5, 17 and 2 square and 23. So what is common only? Only 2 is common. So HCF is 2, only 2. So then we have to prove that A into B equals our HCF into LCM. So A into B, 510 times 92. 510 times 92. Now product of these two numbers will give us like 510 times 92 will give us 46,920. And now we have to prove this side, HCF times LCM. So HCF is 2 and LCM is this number. So 2 times 23,460. Then this will also give us the same answer, 46,920. Right? So you can see it and tell the correct answer over here. It's multiplication by 2 only, right? So 46,920 is the answer for both the cases. Hence, this A times B equals HCF times LCM will be a valid statement, or thus it is verified. So there goes the question number 2 from exercise 1. Where the other question from exercise 1 for question number 4. Now in the case of question number 4, we have been given with HCF of two numbers. HCF of these two given numbers 306 and 657 is given to us as 9, and we have to find what is the LCM. What is the LCM of these two given numbers? Well, what we have to do is exactly apply the same formula which we have proved in the previous question. So LCM into HCF is equal to product of these two numbers, A into B. Well, the A and B are these two given numbers. So HCF is 9, LCM is the unknown. So LCM into HCF, which is 9, equals product of the two given numbers, 306 times 657. LCM equals, brings us to the denominator. So 306 times 657 divided by 9. Well, after all the cancellation, you will get around the LCM of this to be 22,338. So after all the cancellation of these, you will get 22,338 as the LCM of the given two numbers. So that was the question number 4 of the exercise 2. Now for the question number 5, as a question number 5, we have to wait one sec. So as a question number 5 of this exercise, we have been asked to check whether 6 power n can end with a digit 0 for any natural number n. Well, we have been given 6 power n and we have to prove or check if there is a number that ends with 0 in this expansion where n can be any number. 6 power 1 is 6, 6 power 2 is 12. So correspondingly, we have to check if this 6, 12 or any other number for corresponding power ends with a number 0. Suppose 100. If 100 is in some number of 6 power n, then we have to check if some number is coming with ending 0, right? So that is our problem. So we have to check if 6 power n has a number which ends with 0 for any natural number n. Now we can solve this by doing a variety of methods, but how do we get 10? How do we get the number 0? 0 can be brought in by 10, right, or 100 or any such number. So this is the ending 0. So how do we get this number 10 actually? So 5 into 2, right? So any 0 can only be formed by the presence of 5 or 2, 5 and 2. So there must be presence of 5 and 2, so that 5 times 2 will give us 10. Now 5 times 2 square, 2 square is 4, so 5 times 2 square will give us 20. Or 5 square times 2, 5 square is 25, 25 times 2 will give us 50. So in all these numbers there is a 0 at the end. So we have to check if there is 2 and 5 in this. So basically we have to check if there is 2 power n and 5 power n. Product of 2 power n and 5 power m or any numbers m and n is there in this expansion 6 power n. So well, you can see that 2 into 3 is 6. 2 power n into 3 power n. 3 power n into 2 power n is 6 power n, right? So this number can only be split into 3 power n and 2 power n. It cannot be split into 2 power n, this 2 and 5, right? So that when there is no 5 in this expansion, you cannot get any zeros. So hence we can prove that in this expansion there is no 5 component. So therefore no zeros. No zeros can be obtained at the end of the expansion of the 6 power n, where n can be any natural number. So that was the explanation for question number 5. Now, as of question number 6. So this is question number 6 of exercise 1.2. Now in this question we have been asked, we've been given the two numbers and we've been asked why they are composite numbers. So the two numbers given to us are 7 times 11 times 13 plus 13. This is the first number given to us, and the second number is 7 times 6 times 5 times dot 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 times like 3, 2, 1 plus 5. These are the given two numbers, and we have asked why these two numbers are composite numbers. Well, composite numbers are the numbers which can be represented in terms of product of the prime numbers. So you can ask me, well, we already solved numbers which are product of prime numbers, right? We've done for LCM and HCF, we've done the product of prime numbers. Well, all those numbers are composite numbers, and we have to prove that this is also a composite number. They are the product of prime numbers, individual prime numbers. So we have to check whether these two are product of primes. So 13 is common in these two terms. We can take 13 common outside. So 13 times 7 times 11 plus 1. And over here 7 times 7 is 77. 77 plus 1 is 78. So 13 times 78. Well, wait. So 13 times 78 will end with 13 times 78. Now again, 78 can be written as 2 times 13 into 6 is 78. So 2 times 3 times 13. So 13 into 6 is 78. Now you can see that this same number can be written as product of primes. 2 times 3 times 13 times 13. All these numbers are prime numbers. So 2 times 3 times 13 square. So the given number can be written in terms of product of primes. That is why the given number to us is a composite number. Now for this case, here 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 5. So 5 is common in both these terms, so take 5 common. I'll write it in the middle. So 5 times 7 times 6 times 5 is common. So 4, 3, 2, 1 plus 5 we have taken common, so 1. So this is the product of these two numbers. I'm sorry, this is the result when you take 5 out in the common. So 5 times when you take the product of all these numbers, 7 into 6 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. The number will be 1008. 1008 plus 1, this will be 1009. So 5 times 1009. Well, 1009 in turn, it is a prime number. Well, I don't know if it is a prime number or not, so I checked if it is a prime number or not. Well, 1009 is indeed a prime number. It doesn't go by any of these numbers. So, well, 5 is also a prime number and 1009 is also a prime number. Hence, this number is also a composite number, where this can be represented in terms of product of these two primes. So, the same we did for both these numbers and proved that both these two numbers are product of primes or composite numbers. So that ends our exercise number 2 of this chapter, real numbers. And in the next exercise we will probably deal with other problems from exercise number 3, where different concepts will be dealt with and problems will be solved. So see you guys in the next video.